Let's quickly do what we always do to start these Monday shows, going over the stream or the most trending players on Sleeper Fantasy. Got to make sure I'm not on Dynasty. Okay. So the most trending up players, top 5 most trending players, most picked up players on Sleeper Fantasy over the past 24 hours. Number 1 is Quentin Johnston. He's been picked up almost a half a million times. It said he is still rostered in 16.16% of redraft leagues. That's kind of surprising to me. I thought he would be owned in a lot more than 16. I am obviously not Quentin Johnston lover. You heard me criticize him during the draft process. You heard me criticize him last year. He's a big wide receiver who doesn't play big. However, they need someone to be a big outside number 1 receiver in this offense, and they're developing Quentin Johnston to do that. And I think he has the chance to do that. So I think he's worth a pickup. We'll talk about our pickups a little bit later in deeper leagues. However, I don't think there's going to be any consistency. And let's be honest, he's played the Raiders and the Panthers. So a little bit easier than his next 2 matchups, which is the Steelers, the Chiefs, and then he has a bye week. So you probably don't feel great about playing Quentin Johnston over the next 3 weeks, is what it is. Number 2 most picked up player, most trending player on Sleeper Fantasy, we got Jalen Nailor. He was playing wide receiver 2 for the Vikings this week, obviously. Played well. And Justin Jefferson left with a quad injury. We'll talk about injuries in a second. He should be fine. But yeah, Nailor still picked up in about a half a million leagues, rostered in 4%. I don't think you need a rush to pick him up. But number 3, Carson Steele, the rookie long-haired running back for the Chiefs. Isaiah Pacheco, fractured fibula, possibly ligament damage, out for at least 4 weeks. I presume more. He's going to get put on IR. I think he's going to be out for, I think it's going to be more than the 4 weeks. So Chiefs are going to have to do something. They love Samaje Perine. We've seen Samaje Perine play well in this league before. We know his minimum role is 3rd downs for the Chiefs. He will continue to keep that, but he'll probably run a bit. Samaje Perine is the 5th most trending player. Carson Steele certainly has a little bit of Isaiah Pacheco in him, where he's just going to put his head down and run. Did fumble it. Andy Reid still has faith in the rookie, but I do think the leash will be relatively short. So if Carson Steele goes out there this week, who do the Chiefs play this week? They got at the Falcons. So Falcons play tonight. Falcons on a short week, slightly. If Carson Steele goes out there and fumbles right away, I mean, you'll hear the Chiefs bringing in Leonard Fournette. You'll hear the Chiefs insert somebody else. I don't think it'll be Jerick McKinnon just because he's not that early down guy. And Samaje Perine's locked down 3rd down. So don't know if McKinnon will be the guy, but there will be something happening there. So 3 and 5 are Chiefs running backs. Number 4 is a wide receiver in tonight's game, actually. So that's interesting. Maybe I'm guessing people had A.J. Brown who got ruled out, and then they needed to pick up somebody else in this game. But it's Darnell Mooney, picked up over 200,000 times, owned in 32% of Sleeper Fantasy leagues, redraft leagues. I like Darnell Mooney a lot, and I think he's a great sleeper this year. I think if Drake London can emerge as a legitimate option, Darnell Mooney as the 2nd option will benefit greatly. I like Ray McLeod as well, but I do think Darnell Mooney has the chance to fall into a relatively consistent and productive fantasy wide receiver role. So obviously people picking him up to play him tonight most likely, but could be good. Really quickly, 5 most trending down players. Tank Bigsby dropped in 133,000 leagues. If he was dropped in your league, I would certainly go check it out. He was hurt on, I believe, the very first play. So that was special teams. His injury, I don't think is a big deal. I think he'll be back and fine. But he didn't play any offense, so that's why he didn't have a offensive role this week. So if he was dropped, go pick him up. If you're an ETN owner, you absolutely have to have Tank Bigsby. Number 2, Allen Lazard dropped 126,000 times. Certainly rough. So looks like his role is going to be inconsistent at best in that offense. Number 3, Matthew Stafford dropped 124,000 times. Makes sense. Bad offensive line. And now down Puka and Cooper Cup. Not good. And Tyler Higbee. Number 4, Caleb Williams dropped 121,000 times. Offensive line's terrible. He's not going to be outstanding for fantasy, to put it lightly. And then number 5, Jeff Wilson. People picked him up before Thursday Night Football, assuming Mostert is coming back or whatever. People feel the need, they don't need to hold on to him, and they are probably correct. Okay,